At the Wandana Brewery in Mullumbimby, the mad vibrations aren't confined to the dance floor. Inside their stainless steel fermenters, microscopic yeast organisms are also being galvanised by music.
We think that the yeast organisms are having a party in there. I honestly do.
Rupert Brown and Chrissy Cool were in advertising in Sydney before they moved north for a tree change and opened the brewery in 2018.
Imagine if we could play music to our beer and drink it, and maybe it tastes a little bit better.
So that's actually brought us to fermenting beer to music.
The music is played through heavy-duty speakers inside these steel boxes. Each track is matched to the style of beer that's being fermented.
Our Pilsner, which is a very classical style European beer, we play classical music to it.
The music-flavoured beer gets a mixed reaction from visitors.
First of all, they think what we're doing is bullshit, but so they want to hear it for themselves. For this beer, all the hops were grown in the Pacific Northwest, which is Seattle. Obviously, Seattle is grunge music, so if you can hear some Soundgarden, Mudhoney, Nirvana. The wine growers in Italy have been doing this for 20 years now.
At the Il Paradiso di Frasina vineyard in Tuscany, the hills are alive with the sound of Mozart.
This is something that is really special and that we are really proud of.
Ulysses Cignozzi and his father Giancarlo started playing Mozart to their grapes as a bit of fun. Things got serious when the global electronics giant Bose backed the project with state-of-the-art equipment. Then the University of Florence sent in a research team. What the scientists found was music to Ulysses' ears. The grapes closest to the speakers were plumper, had more sugar and matured earlier. The sound vibrations also deterred bugs, leading to healthier vines.
If the grapes are healthy, the wine is good. Some people are very skeptical about this idea, okay, of course. But I believe that there's something certainly going on, okay? And why not?
But the research couldn't tell Ulysses what, if anything, the music was doing to the flavour of his wine.
If we can just prove that there's a connection between these two things, I mean, it would be just incredible.
Closer to home, those inventive Kiwis have dug even deeper into the science.
I'd heard stories about winemakers playing classical music and that they swore blind that by playing certain types of music to their wine, they would get a better result. And it just seems like such a fun, playful thing to do. We thought we'd give it a hoon.
Cue the music.
So, with the help of New Zealand's Symphony Orchestra, Pete Gillespie from the Garage Project Brewery created a classical playlist. But to gauge the full effect of music on his beer, he needed to find someone with a sturdy waterproof sound system.
My name's Andrew Jeffs. I'm a marine scientist at the University of Auckland in New Zealand.
Professor Andrew Jeffs normally studies underwater sounds in places like the Great Barrier Reef.
I said, oh yeah, I can help you with that. That sounds like a fun project.
So the professor's sound system was put to work in the brewery.
We were really trying to just have a bit of fun by playing music to this yeast. But what we found was that it actually fermented 10% more. It made us wonder whether there really was something in it.
So Pete dropped the speakers into his 666th batch of beer, a black IPA called Dark Resonance.
Instead of playing the yeast, lovely kind of pastoral classical music, we had this 11-day non-stop playlist of death, doom and dark metal with no repeats. We had a camera inside the fermenter to record what was going on with the yeast. You just hear this kind of like guttural pig squeal screams coming out of this tank.
That brew was rather special. It came in with a whopping alcohol content, well over 10%, and quite an unusual brew. So it got us thinking that maybe the sound effect had some kind of influence on the way the yeast behaved.
To find out what the yeast was doing, the professor's team won a research grant of $1 million Kiwi from the government and set up a lab inside a sound isolation chamber.
We were separating out different frequencies, so that's the high noise and the low noise. and at different loudnesses, very softly and very loudly. And that way we could start to tease apart which parts of the sounds, which types of sounds were important to the yeast and how it affected their behaviour.
5 scientists worked for 3 years gathering barrels of data. The results, which were published without fanfare in September, are nothing short of astounding. Sound can increase alcohol content significantly and can speed up the fermentation process by nearly 30%. Citrus aromas such as orange and lemon are stronger when exposed to sound. Banana and apricot flavours weaken. Vanilla flavours intensify with low-frequency sounds but are reduced when exposed to high frequency.
I think there's a real opportunity for sound to be used as a tool for improving the quality of fermented products like beer and wine, particularly in terms of speeding up the process of production, adding extra flavour profiles and possibly also manipulating the alcohol content as well.
If we can find a way of actually then harnessing that and using it in the brewing industry, there's a lot of potential, I feel.
Could the Kiwis have discovered the holy grail that could even help them make a better beer than us?
I think we do that already.
Rupert and Chrissy may not have the science, but they do have the recipe for making beer sing.
We didn't need the science. I mean, primarily for us, we thought it's a really cool thing to do, is play music to your beer. I mean, how cool is that? Like, if there's some science behind it, all the better. Win-win.
That has got to be an all-time low for the members of that symphony orchestra. What's the gig? A brewery. Great. Perfect. Do you want to hear the song that I play to my beer?
Please.
Go for it.
I love you. You're so delicious. It's an original.
What does it do to the beer?
Does it taste any better though, Tom?
It tastes ever so sweet every single time I sip.
Wow, Tom, this is your first time on the project. Thank you so much for that song.
I also love the Jam Fran Skeptical Eye. I've never seen it working more furiously than during that story.
I think it's very interesting. I can just tell that there are probably some people going, I'm sorry, the New Zealand government gave $1 million to study what now?
Send it to COVID research, all right?
In the middle of a pandemic, you say? Okay.
The Kiwis are preparing to take their beer science to the next level, Jan Fran, in
I'm here for it.
by making sound-infused beer in a commercial brewery. So now they're going to make money of it and shame you.